Hi, welcome to the Insight for the month of October. I apologize for it being so late. I had a few issues with equipment and stuff, so we're getting a bit of a late start. So for those of you that are new to my Insight, I pulled two cards from my deck, the Words to the Wise Oracle, which is a free-form oracle deck. And I pull one for our day-to-day life and the world we feel we can control. And then I also pull one for our higher purpose or our spiritual plane. And then I read them together. So the cards for October on the spiritual plane is communication. And what communication talks about is that we need to know that words aren't the only way we communicate. You know, there's obvious things. We can write letters, we can play music, it's our actions. There's a lot of different ways to communicate and to be aware of those. You know, don't be so dependent on words. Don't have to hear the person say, I love you. You know, there's other ways they can express that to you, because not everybody's good with words. Not everybody uses the right words. And sometimes we misinterpret words. So with communication in that higher purpose, it's saying just be really aware of other ways that people communicate, and also be open to letting those forms of communication be just as valuable as words. Then on the spiritual plane, on the earth plane, we have a card called Express Yourself. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the communication, because it does really talk about accepting others in their own form and not trying to make them comply with what we feel is the way things should happen. You know, too often we get very comfortable with what works for us. We get very comfortable with people presenting things in such a way that we don't have to work. You know, we don't have to try and understand them. We don't have to try and figure them out. We don't have to try and reason where they're coming from or get their meaning. It's just like, oh, okay, I identify with this person. They do everything like I do. Good, got it. But this month it's saying that sometimes when we just gravitate to those type of people or things, or when something new comes in and we don't bother trying to interpret them or understand their way of communicating, we miss out on a lot. You know, we keep our world very small. So this month of October is just kind of saying that be aware that other people try to communicate other things. And sometimes, you know, it could be someone that normally can speak their mind. But something's happened, there's a certain situation, and they're not able to put that into words. So they need a different way to communicate. So I think it's also talking about is encourage people to communicate in other ways if they can't tell you. You know, let them draw it or write it or play a piece of music for you. There's lots of different ways to communicate. But also, in order to hear different forms of communication, you've got to get out of your head a little bit. Of course, the intellect likes the words because it can assign certain meanings that it has in its archive, so it makes sense. And sometimes when people communicate in other ways, like sounds or photos, you have to reinterpret them because it's not obvious what it might mean, but it's still valid. So as you go into October, if you're having communication problems with someone, you know, give them permission to communicate in a different way. Encourage them maybe to communicate in a different way. You know, there's all these therapists that say, what color do you see when you think of this? What number do you see? These are all different ways of communicating. There's so many different ways. And if you allow that, you're going to bring in more information and also give people the ability to feel confident that they're being heard, and possibly they'll get back to using words, or they'll feel safe to use words. You know, a lot of people don't use words because they're frightened they'll say the wrong thing, or often they say something and then they get bombarded with all these questions and they have to redefine what they just said, and quite often what they said in the first place was a big enough task. So, you know, words can be a little bit of a pitfall for people. So be understanding of that. Be open to other forms of communication and allow people to reach you in the way that they can, and you be able to modify your expectations so you can hear them. So have a wonderful October, have a wonderful Halloween. Thank you to all of those that were new to come and see me this month. We are getting into the holiday season, so I did want to mention that I will have, I'll have photos here from the 1st of November till after Christmas for holiday photos. So if you go to my website for my photography, it's Artsy Fartsy Photos by Shanon, Shanon. You can see all the photos that I've done. You'll also see under portraits all my holiday photos. And I do a lot of pet photography, people photography. So you're welcome to talk to me about booking a session for the holidays. And gift cards, gift certificates can be applied to those. They can also be applied to my photography. So if you want to come and look at my little makeshift art gallery here, please come and do that. And also the Words to the Wise Oracle is an awesome deck for someone that doesn't want to go into all the confusion of learning the tarot per se. And on my website, seraphimskeep.com, there is a tab where you can take your own reading and you can actually shuffle my cards and read for yourself to see if maybe they work for you. So, and also, of course, I have a book called You Are Wiser Than You Think, which talks about how to communicate. So I don't push my stuff very much, but it's getting around the holidays. So if there's anything that I can do to help you, please contact me. Thank you, all of you that supported me throughout this year. Sounds like it's at the end of the year already. And the new folks that came to see me. My website is seraphimskeep.com. My phone number 518-423-5353. I look forward to talking with you by phone, in person, or FaceTime. And I will see you in November, getting ready for Thanksgiving.